And hello again, darlings. It's another glorious Wednesday, and you know what time it is. So, get all of your crumpets together, darling, because it's time to dish tea, and you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meats. Hey, now, what's going on out there, Blog Talk Radio Land? Thank you for all of your love and your support. I cannot do this all without you, so I'm paying homage to you today as well for coming on in and to join me. Now, today is going to be a personal show for me because, as you all know, I've been on my journey to release a few pounds and all of those particular things. And so today's show is going to be centered around talking with you about what's going on, and also we're going to hit big boy health issues today. I told you guys that whenever I'm going through and being challenged, or whenever I have something of significance, I wanted to make this my platform and also talk to my brothers of size out there as well, so that we can strive to be a healthier society. Okay, so with that, please be advised that the information that you hear today is a little bit of research that I've done. I'm going to be quoting some statistics and all of this, that, and the other. And then I'm going to invite you to come on in on the call. All of my big boys out there who have concerns or have other health challenging issues, or if you're on your own journey, I welcome you to call in at 347-205-9183. That's 347-205-9183. Call on in, and I want you to join in on the conversation, and let's talk real honestly. We cannot do this if it's not honest. So I'm going to say my disclaimer here that this show is for mature audiences only. The language and subject matter that you hear are not for children, and there's not for anyone who is not mature enough to handle the subject matter. So your listening discretion is advised. Again, I say your listening discretion is advised. I'm going to say that one more time. Your listening discretion is advised. Now, I don't know what kind of a bag I'm coming out of. Just know that I'm coming out of one. And I don't want to be held responsible, because I'm not responsible for anything that goes across the airways here that may get you guys in trouble at work. So listen responsibly. If you're at your jobs or whatever, put your headphones on. If you're listening by telephone and they have the volume up, turn it down, because you know that I have a potty mouth and I make no excuses for it, okay? So consider yourselves warned thoroughly. Okay? Now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, show ideas, or anything of that nature, please feel free to send them over to bigmeech@dishingtea.com. Yes, bigmeech@dishingtea.com. And please know that the website, we're currently under construction. The website will be available soon. I'm planning to have it done for the second day of Kwanzaa, which is December 27th. We may have to push it back depending on if we can get this thing to do the right way. So, but I'm looking for it to be launched within the next couple of weeks or so. Dishingtea.com. Yes, I'm a .com, honey. So just keep that in mind. But until then, please send all of your email correspondences to bigmeech@dishingtea.com. And that there is lovely. I love all that. Now, before I go any further, I want to say hello and thank you to all of my sponsors. I want to say first, I have a brand new sponsor that has come on board, and I want to thank them because they have some sickening food down there. And they're brand new to the scene. They're here in the underground Atlanta area of the city. For those of you who come to visit Atlanta soon, you know the underground is one of our most popular spots and one of the tourist attractions here. And once you get there, you must, I repeat, you must go and experience the Georgia Peach. Oh, baby. Georgia Peach Restaurant is right there in the heart of the city and located in underground Atlanta. They specializes in a simple cuisine and a simple menu, honey, that is to kill for. Do you hear what I say? It is to kill for. This thing has everything is from scratch. What I love about it is that the menu items, everything is under $10, so it's family friendly. Everything is done homemade and from scratch. The chicken sandwiches is real chicken, it's not processed patties. The barbecue sauce is made from scratch. She has a peach barbecue sauce, baby, that is complete heaven. If you're into salads, honey, she has a peach vinaigrette that will make you slap your great-grandmama. I went down there and experienced this for myself, so y'all know, honey, I'm not going to lie to you when it comes to food. It's very healthy, it's very nutritious, it is very delicious, and it is very economical, so you won't break the bank when going here. Again, that is the Georgia Peach, located in the underground Atlanta. I have a special connection because the owner is also from Detroit, honey. So, you know, we're family by a hometown. So that there is very special. She's open Mondays through Saturdays from 11 to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. They have live jazz on the weekends. You can rent out your space on on Sundays. You're able to book and rent out the space, honey, for large parties or private parties. And it is a very, very wonderful atmosphere. It has a full bar, so you're able to come down there and get your cocktail on as well. And it is just a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere. Again, it's called the Georgia Peach Restaurant, right down there in the heart of the ATL in underground Atlanta. So make sure you check them out for me. When you go there, tell them Big Meat sent you, and it will be a fabulous experience for you and your family, or if you want to be romantic, for you and that special someone that you're carrying on your arm. So, yes, the Georgia Peach. We're going to keep moving right along, and I want to say hello to the rest of my sponsors, and I want to say thank you for coming on out and letting me do my thing, because without you, there is no me. We want to say thank you to Trade Day Management and PR Firm. At Trade Day, enjoy a touch of Southern hospitality with a universal appeal for all of your public relations and entertainment management needs. Contact Travion Davenport at 678-523-3088. That's 678-523-3088, or email at tradedaypr@gmail.com. tradedaypr@gmail.com. Pharaoh's Treasure Box, fine art, unique jewelry, and sensational 3D silk floral arrangements, creations by Taps. For all of your decorative needs, contact Pharaoh's Treasure Box at 248-688-5178 or 5179, 248-688-5178 or 5179, or email at pharaohstreasurebox@comcast.net or pharaohstreasurebox@yahoo.com, pharaohstreasurebox@comcast.net or pharaohstreasurebox@yahoo.com. Parisian Wine Productions, music to lighten your spirits and lift your soul, specializing in gospel, house, and inspirational dance music production. For all of your Christian or church social needs, contact Paris Hairston, he's the CEO, at 646-243-9396, 646-243-9396, or email at paris42268@yahoo.com. That's paris42268@yahoo.com. Life Fellowship of Christ Ministries, LIFE, live in freedom everywhere. Reverend James Coleman is the leader and founder of this ecumenical social justice ministry, brought forth to free the oppressed and introducing a fresh approach to the Christ consciousness. Contact Reverend Coleman at 313-833-9278, 313-833-9278, or email at mustardcole@yahoo.com. That's mustardcole@yahoo.com. Echam Vidal Couture. Enjoy high fashion with a luxurious twist. Step into the future with fresh, innovative couture. Designs by Miss Michi DeVille. For more information, contact Michi at 313-996-9807, 313-996-9807, or go on Facebook.com/Michi DeVille. That's Facebook.com/Michi DeVille, MICHIEEDEVALE. Big Brothers Network, the BBN, a new online web magazine designed to show the world the class and style of the debonair man of size and his admirers. The first edition was launched this past Memorial Day weekend, and for the latest and current edition, please go to www.bigbrothersnetwork.com, www.bigbrothersnetwork.com. Also, we want to say thank you to the Caribbean Boys Enterprises. We cater, promote, entertain, and provide social services, special services with the Caribbean swagger, island flavor on the mainland. Bam, bam. Mr. Silvano T. DeMarco is the CEO and founder of the CABC. For more information, please contact Silvano at CaribbeanBoysATL@yahoo.com. That's Caribbean Boys with a Z, ATL. At yahoo.com or on Facebook at facebook.com/Silvano T. DeMarco. That's SYLVANOTDMARCO. Kissing After Dark. Kissing After Dark is Atlanta's premier social events for all those who are tired of the same old party scene. These premier events are across the ATL, where the grown and sexy can become the seasoned and sophisticated. Every Wednesday at the Banana Wind, right in the underground Atlanta. Join Kissing After Dark for Lesbian Wednesdays, the hottest lesbian, bi-attractional, bi-curious party in the ATL. Doors open at 8 p.m. and go until. There is no cover charge. They have $3 drink specials and $10 bucket specials. For more information, go to facebook.com/Kissing After Dark. That's facebook.com/Kissing After Dark, KISSN After Dark. Swirl Films, the #1 urban film production company specializing in all areas of film production, including directing, producing, script writing, budgeting and scheduling, production assembling, and post-production. For more information, contact Eric Thomasounis, Russ Parr, or Keith Neal at 910-798-2934. That's 910-798-2934, or go to www.swirlfilms.com, www.swirlfilms.com. All right. Woo. Thank you to all of my sponsors, and thank you for doing you, which allows me to do me. So, yes, now, let's get to the business at hand today, because as I said, today is going to be a very personal show for me, because I have to let you guys know a few things. As I said before, when I come to you with health issues, I'm using my own life as the mantra, the guinea pig, the whatever, because I have to come from personal experience on this so folks will know what's going on. Now, as you all know, I've taken this journey. I'm in the process of building and making myself to be a better somebody and a healthier somebody. I love being a big boy. I'm not trying to be skinny, none the least. The whole thing of it is that at this particular size, my body is telling me that I can't be this big anymore. Excuse me. So with my body telling me that, it's time for me to start listening to it and to do what is appropriate for me to be at my optimum healthiest so that I can be around here, because, you know, I've already told y'all I would be here to fully participate, act, and be active at my 125th birthday. So with that, we have to do the necessary stuff now so that I can make sure that I am achieving that particular goal. So to say all that, says this. On Facebook, for those of you who've been following me on Facebook, you know I've been putting up Team Meat. You know, I've been telling you that as I've been on the treadmill and I've incorporated some kind of movement into my lifestyle. So since then, now I've not been on, I have to be honest, I haven't been on the treadmill in about 3 weeks, and now it's becoming an excuse. But before, well, if you see me on this treadmill, you'll understand why. I'm very animated, and when I'm listening to my music, I'm actually going into performance mode. So I'm singing and flinging and dancing and prancing on this treadmill, and I know that I would be a distraction to someone else, and if not hit them, because I have a very large wingspan or arm reach, if you will. So I always exercise or get on the meal after I clock out from work. And lately, the way how my schedule has been, it hasn't been conducive for me to get up there like I want to. And in a few of those days, I've been just either extremely tired or I've had aches and pains, and I don't get on the treadmill when I'm hurting because it will worsen. So for the last 3 weeks, I've not been on Miss High Stepper, as I like to call her. But I will say this. Since I've incorporated that into my lifestyle, I've lost 14 pounds. Yay! Finally got on the scale. I realized that I was down to 425, and that there was me knowing that I was at 439. So that was always my base of operation, and knowing that I was 439, and so I'm down to 425 at this particular point. And on top of it, baby, when I tell you this, because it's flocking, and I'm sitting in them now. Y'all know usually I'm sitting up here without any clothes on because I'm at home. However, I got dressed, and I am wearing a pair of jeans, honey, that I've not been able to get into for the last 2 years. And I put those girls on a few days ago, and when I tell you a bitch got to walking around here as if I was the grandest peacock in the block, I mean it. So that there was a stepping stone for me to say, okay, yes, it's working and this, that, and the other. Now, we are among holiday seasons and carrying on, so I have to make sure that I, continue my eating plan. And yes, I've strayed off of it a little bit, here and there. Eating, I still have my days where I'm craving sweets, and that's not necessarily good, and I haven't talked to the doctor about that yet, because I know there are days where I just want nothing but sweets. And I'm not on drugs, and I haven't had any drugs in my system or whatever, but I know when I see other folks do that, that's a common sign for those who have abused drugs that they're looking to get high. So I don't know what that means for me, not being someone who has been on drugs or anything like that. So I have to talk to the doctor about that and find out what that is. And then I have some real strange cravings as well. So just to let you know, though I have incorporated and started doing more with exercising and things, and I'm going to call it movement, having more movement in me, it doesn't take away from the everyday stuff that I go through, because it's still a mindset, and it's still learning how to portion size and this, that, and the other. Now, that there is the fantabulous thing, okay? Now, I have to let you guys know this because I will let you guys know when the surgery is scheduled, because once I have the surgery, we won't be on the air for at least 2 weeks. I think I'm going to just rest and not do anything for 2 weeks. I know my recovery time is 6 weeks. So having said that, many of you may know, I've talked about it before, that I've had a hernia operation where it was an umbilical hernia that was coming through my navel, and it had gotten to the size of a grapefruit. Yes, it gotten that big over the course of about 4 years. And why did I wait so long? Well, because I had faulty insurance. And when I was back home in Michigan, the doctors in the ER told me that it wasn't an emergency surgery because they were still able to push on it or whatever, and it was still soft, and it wasn't considered to be an emergency surgery, and they would not perform the surgery in the ER department. What they did tell me was that the day that it becomes an emergency would be when the intestines and this, that, and the other strangulate themselves. And then it would be a problem, and then I would have to undergo emergency surgery, and I would have been on a colostomy bag for the rest of my life. And I became furious about that, of course, and went on. So after about a course of 4 years, when I moved down here to Atlanta, got some health benefits with my donut job. We had the surgery. Now, I had the surgery in 2009, January 1st, 2009. Since that time, I've had to bandage, and I've told y'all about that too, that I've been bandaging and sick of bandaging and carrying on. Well, just a couple weeks ago, in fact, last week, I was told that for all this time nearly 2 years that this damn scar, it hasn't closed. And they also told me that the materials that they use, the mesh, which is inside to hold everything in place, that it is infected, and they have to go back in and redo the entire surgery, remove this particular piece of mesh, and then they're going to substitute it for another style and another brand so that it can then form to my body, because the new mesh will be made out of pig skin, and it will then conform to my body, and the blood vessels and all of that will be able to attach itself to it, and so it will then be a better material for me, and it will be infection and resistant and all of that kind of stuff, so that the healing will fortify itself and sustain itself, and the wound will close and this, that, and the third. So that there is where I am. So I have not scheduled the surgery as of yet. I have to go back to the doctor next week, and once I go back to the doctor, then we will talk about those things and when we will have the surgery and et cetera, et cetera. So I know I told you I was going to Florida, and I was thinking about doing the whole New York thing and et cetera, for my birthday in March, but if I'm in traction, I will not be able to do all of those things at, being 100%. So I'm a little disappointed for that. However, being disappointed about that, my health is most important. And though I wanted to go get my freak on and my frolic on and my this on and my that on and my let you have it on, I'm going to do all that when I'm healthier and I'm not oozing and carrying on all over the place. But and I shared all that with you because, as I said, I want to talk to my big brothers out there, because many of us have either dealt with hernias or have hernias and not realize what they are. So let me give you this piece of information, and I'm going to start here. This here comes from the Cleveland Clinic, the clevelandclinic.org website, and it simply is a definition of what is a hernia. And it says here that sometimes it's also called an incarcerated hernia, but a hernia occurs when the inside layers of the abdominal wall weaken, then bulge or tear. The inner lining of the abdomen pushes through the weakened area to form a balloon-like sac. This, in turn, can cause a loop of intestine or abdominal tissue to slip into the sac, causing pain and other potential serious health problems. Men and women of all ages can have hernias. Hernias usually occur either because of a natural weakness in the abdominal wall or form from excessive strain on the abdominal wall, such as the strain from lifting, heavy lifting, substantial weight gain, persistent coughing, or difficulty with bowel movement or urination. 80% of all the hernias are located near the groin. Hernias may also be found below the groin, or what they call the femoral area, through the navel, which is what I have, the umbilical, and along a previous incision, or it's called the incisional or ventral type of hernia. What are some of the symptoms? A noticeable protrusion in the groin area or in the abdomen, feeling pain when lifting, a dull, aching sensation, a vague feeling of fullness. So, having said all that, that there is what the hernia is. And like I told you, mine was umbilical, which means it came right through my navel, and I knew over the years that as it was growing, it would debilitate me. It was so painful, and it would knock me on, really, literally knock me on my ass, and I couldn't move at all because it hurt so much. So that there is what that is. And I know a lot of men of size, for some reason you may have thought it was a tumor, you may have thought it was just excess fat or something, but you need to go have these things checked out, because this is a potential hazard. And as I said before, what my doctors had told me is that what it is basically, what that comes through is that that's the intestines, the lower intestines are pushing through that tear that's in the stomach walls or in the stomach lining, and that's what goes into the pouch or that little sac, as the definition said. That's what that is. And if that gets strangulated, then what happens is the bacteria then builds up in the system, and then you end up poisoning yourself, basically. Okay? And so if that were to happen under extreme cases, then they have to go through and it becomes an even more severe surgery because they have to cut that part of the intestine out, and that's where my doctor was saying there'd have been a colostomy bag or whatever the case may be. So with that, that there is something that a man of size need to consider because this is also there's a lot of folks who out there are going through that and may not realize what that is. Like I said, you may have chalked it up to thinking it's a tumor of some sort. Okay. Caller, I see you. I got someone here, 898. I'm coming to you in just a second. Let me read this as well before I come to you, because this here, I found this, the sourcing on this is coming from MSNBC's website. This is dated back in May 3rd, 2010. And I'm talking to my men of size because, see, we have a lot of health issues that we don't consider. Having a hernia is one of them, but a lot of stuff is tied to this, and here's what I'm talking about. It says here that obesity is tied to low testosterone in men. Get it? Men who are tipping the scales might want to get their testosterone levels checked, according to a new study showing obese men are more likely than others to have low levels of this sex hormone. 40% of obese participants in the study had lower than normal testosterone readings, and for those obese men who had diabetes, that percentage rose to 50%. A separate study last year found that obese men who lost significant weight reported better sexual functions. While past studies have shown a link between diabetes and low testosterone, the new one is the largest analyst to look at the association between obesity and low testosterone levels. In fact, the Endocrine Society now recommends that all men with type 2 diabetes have their testosterone levels measured. Now, it seems obese men, even younger men, should also get screened for low testosterone levels, the research says. The effect of diabetes on lowering testosterone levels was similar to that of a weight gain of approximately 20 pounds, said the lead author, Dr. Sandeep Dinsa. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Dinsa, an endocrinologist specialist at the University of Buffalo Department of Medicine and lead author of the study published online ahead of print in the journal Diabetes Care. With our waistlines expanding, the results can speak to many American men. In view of the fact that almost one-third of the U.S. is obese, these observations have profound pathophysiological, clinical, epidemiological, and public health implications, Dinsa said. The study involves 2,165 men, 45 years or older, who provided blood samples for analysis of testosterone concentrations and who were taking part in the hypogonadism in males, the HIM study, funded by the Solvay Pharmaceuticals Incorporated. The study was conducted from November 2003 to February 2004 in 95 primary care practices throughout the United States. Body mass index, or the BMI, which measures the height and weight that estimates body fat, was used to indicate obesity. Men with diabetes, whether obese or not, should have showed lower levels of testosterone than non-diabetic men across all weight categories. Testosterone levels decreased significantly in both diabetic and non-diabetic men as the BMI increased. UB endocrinologists published a study in Diabetes Care in 2008 showing that more than 50% of men between 18 and 35 years old with type 2 diabetes had lower than normal testosterone levels. In view of the high areas of subnormal testosterone in patients with obesity or diabetes, testosterone concentrations should be measured regularly in these populations, especially when these conditions occur together, said the study researcher, Dr. Paris Dandana, head of the Division of Endocrinology, Diabetes, and Metabolism at UB. Okay. Now, that sounds all technical. Okay, a little, a couple of words up in there with medical words and stuff. But basically, we worry about, there's a big old thing out here now that talks about men who have, may have low sex drives. A lot of big men may have been facing that. We as men of size, may have sexual problems with dealing with erectile dysfunction. You may not have felt like you wanted to be sexually intimate with your partner. A lot of big men who are of LGBT orientation find themselves being the more passive one in the relationship now. It's like you being a bottom by default, and this is possible. This is one of the contributing factors, according to this report, that as we have expanded our waist size, the testosterone levels in us have dropped, and we need to get those things checked out as well. So I'm going to continue on with this, but let me go to the caller because I said I was going to get the caller in. I'm going to 989-790, 989-790. Hey, darling, you are dishing tea with Big Meech. Hello, sugar.
Hey, child. How you doing?
Hey, baby. What's that?
First of all, I want to say that you're working this show right now because you giving the technical terms and all of this, but you breaking it down. I'm loving it. And I'm loving it coming from the nurse point of view. Okay. But going back to the hernia thing, just wanted to point out a few things. With the strangulation, it can cause a lot of problems. So, brothers, please, if you think you have a hernia or you got any indication of it, go get checked out because with the colostomy, you can get a permanent one if you wait too long. Now, if you go early and they need to cut it out or whatever, and you need to get a colostomy, it could be temporary and reversible. That's one thing. But another thing that's really, really on my mind with that is when you get a hernia and you get the strangulation or whatever, that's your bowel, okay? And you could get a blockage. And if you get a blockage in your bowel, it could cause a lot of illness. It could cause you to become very septic where the poison in your body, the poison level in your body could kill you. And also because it's strangulated and you get the blockage and you can't get it out the natural way, well, that bowel has to go somewhere so you can start vomiting bowel. We don't want it to get that bad. So please, brothers, go and get checked out. Sisters, go and get checked out if you have any indication that you have a hernia because it can cause lots and lots of problems and it can kill you. And that's all I wanted to say because you're doing a good job. So I didn't have much to add. I just wanted to make sure that was put out there because I have seen it. And I've seen it on more than one occasion, and you can die. So just go get checked out.
You know what? Now, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are listening, I'm going to pull rank here because this is my Bristol right here. And knowing our struggle, my Bristol used to be a person of size, and I guess technically still is. But I just share with us your experience because you're diabetic. And what that meant for you to get yourself at a healthier weight and this, that, and the other, and being a person of size, what was that like for you?
Well, I was happy fat. Okay.
And most of us are. We are jolly and caring. Most of us are, and which is why a lot of us don't feel that we need to, because you know how we were, and you know how I am. We're down here, this is a love me or leave me, honey. I don't need all this. I ain't got to change shit for you and blah, 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 blah. But as we got older, see, we in our 40s, baby.
And see, that's what happened. I got older, I got diagnosed with diabetes, and, I was a little upset by it, but I still was fine, my health was good. But then I started having health problems where I was, got diagnosed with high blood pressure, and it was really getting high up into the stroke and heart attack levels and this and that. So I really did have to change my eating habits, and I had to drop some of that weight because the medications for diabetes were causing me a lot of problems to where I thought I would die in my sleep. Like, my numbers would drop into the low 30s every night while I was sleeping, and I had to wake up and have heart palpitations and eat for an hour just to get it to a normal level. Well, that's not good. So I actually just started walking every day, and I started changing the way that I eat. I didn't deprive myself. I ate what I liked. I just ate smaller portions, and I didn't eat the crap every day. Like, I'm one of those people who can eat fried chicken every day, and I got to have some chocolate. So I had my little small portion of chocolate daily, and I have fried chicken once a week. And that was one of my major changes. Another thing, too, us big people, I know a lot of us don't like water, but water keeps things moving. It keeps your bowels moving. It keeps the sugar coming out of your body and all that fat moving. So we need to increase our water intake, and that was one of the major things that I did as well. I started drinking at least a gallon of water a day. The bigger you are, the more you need, and people don't know that. It does go according to your weight, just like everything else. So 8-ounce glasses for a big person is not necessarily enough. So I increased it to a gallon a day. Right. I increased it to a gallon a day, and I actually, to be honest, I was sick a couple weeks ago, and since I've been sick, I haven't worked out at all, and I'm still dropping pounds. I dropped another pound this week, and I ain't been on nobody's treadmill, walking nowhere or nothing, because I do believe it's because of the water intake. So we really do need to be conscious of that. I know some of y'all don't like it. Put some lemon in it. Put a little sugar in it. It's still water.
Right.
Mhm.
All right. And then from a nurse's standpoint, the whole idea, because we as big folks, we dehydrate easily.
Right.
And a lot of folks don't
a lot of big people. Now, I'm not one of them. I'm one of them little dainty children. I don't know how that happened because I've always been a big child. But I'm not a sweater. And even when I work out, I still only perspire. But a lot of us big children, we sweat. And another thing people don't realize, too, a lot of big people, especially when they sleep, are mouth breathers. You expel a lot of fluid through your mouth. Just breathing out like that. Just like, the dogs, that's how they get cooled down. When you have your mouth open like that, you lose a lot of fluid. So that's another reason why you need to have the intake. And then with those mouth breathers, a lot of us have a lot of oral problems because those areas get dried out. I got a patient right now at work because she's a mouth breather, and she usually wears dentures, but she's been throwing them at people, so they've only been putting them in for meals. And when she's sleeping, she sleeps with her mouth open. Well, now she has sores in her mouth and stuff from having it open. So we need to keep that area moist, and the only way you could do that is to have a fluid intake. I know a lot of us like pop, and we think there's water in it. Well, it is water in it, and you can get some H2O intake from that, but it's not enough. And because of the acidic properties of it, that's also dehydrating you. So we need to have water. Our body is made up of water, and we need to put it back in. Well.
Then you just reminded me. I used to do that at church when we were going on trips and stuff, and you just sounded like me. I would stand up in the pulpit. I would tell them, okay, we need to bring water, and water.
Right.
We ain't stopping at the bathrooms, honey.
Okay.
We're going to be on this bus for 2.5 hours. Y'all ain't finna kill me. But
right.
I just had a flashback. But anyway, that is very important because I've noticed that too. That my skin is looking a little healthier. It's flushing out a lot of the impurities. And some of this stuff, we've heard this over the years, but for a person of size, I don't think that we get it. And here's something, good. Wait a minute, before you go, let me get you to talk on this as well. And that is the importance of being regular. Because what I have noticed, and see, this is, I've incorporated a lot of green smoothies and stuff into my diet, and I make them myself. I don't buy the smoothies from the smoothie shops because they contain a lot of sugar and a lot of syrups. I get fresh fruit, and if I buy canned, I make sure it's not packed in syrup. I get it in the real fruit juice, so that it blends well. And that I add water or tea. I make some tea that's not real sweet, and ice, and that's how I do my smoothies. And between that and water, I notice that it keeps me regular. And every time that I eat, within about a half hour to an hour, I have to eliminate. So the importance of that is what for a big person, because a lot of us don't know the importance of being regular after we eat. A lot of us think that going a day or a day and a half without eliminations is normal because that's not something that we do. So what is that?
Very, very, very important. It's important for your physical health, period. That's one of the biggest things that we have to concentrate on, especially in a nursing home, because, older people eat less, their peristalsis slows down, and they're not regular. Well, the state mandates that they have to go within a 3-day period, which I think, for an old person, that's pushing it, especially if they're not eating. But we need to keep that regular. Like you said, the fluid. Water keeps you moving. But, some people still have a lot of problems, and I do recommend a natural aid such as prunes and not using all those stimulants. And if you don't like regular prunes, get the dry kinds. They're really good. Trust me, I like them. So
Is that an endorsement?
Right, it is. And if you don't like the prune flavor, at all, they come in different flavors. They have citric flavors and fruity flavors on top of the prunes to mask the taste. So you got to do what you got to do. But, yeah, that's very important. And all those stimulants will make you become dependent. So, people want to use the different X-Wax or whatever.
Metamucil, X-Wax and all that, yeah.
And people come dependent on that, and then they can't go naturally once they stop taking that. So don't get hooked on that stuff. You try to do as much of the natural stuff as you can. And like I said, water is one of the best things to keep you moving. So we need to have more intake of that.
Okay, but I found those stimulants also they dehydrate you too.
Because it's making you go too much. It's taking all your fluid with it. Because what a lot of the stimulants do, they activate the fluid to go to the bowel to make it move. So all of your water is going into that area and it's coming out. That's what stimulants do.
Okay.
Right. So no, you don't want to do that. Because you're taking all your water with it. And your body needs the water to function. And that's how we get dehydrated. That make you sick, too. Make you weak, tired, make your skin look bad, make you look old. No, just take the water in and keep it moving. All right. Very important.
We'll do that. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me on. And keep on doing it, y'all, because you sound like a professional. I said, he hitting all the points. I don't even know if I need to call in and say nothing.
Thank you, baby. I have to give it to my people, baby, and it doesn't work unless there's, we come from a people, honey, who need information behind it. I can't just tell you what my opinion is. Dealing with these studies is one thing. So, if I got a couple of things that back it up, then hopefully it will hit home for people and they will understand it. So here, just keep listening because I'm going to go to hit y'all with some statistics that's dealing with obesity. And I don't want to browbeat you over the head about being fat because that's not what this is. What I want to do is to stimulate you to get to a point where you understand that it's time to reduce some of it. Okay? What we want to do is get you or get everyone, and that's me included, to a healthy weight, Okay, and I'm not going by the guidelines, okay, because, for my frame, I'm 6'4", and I'm a large frame, and they say that my ideal weight, we're supposed to be at 205 pounds. Well, I've seen that on certain people, and it looks good on some. It won't look that well on me. Unless we do, I work out and have to, and build the muscle. Because 205 pounds on muscle, and if it's all muscle and it's ripped and chiseled, y'all know how we salivate over the boys in the calendars and, all the models and this, that, and the other, for those of you who are LGBT or heterosexual females. To my heterosexual men out there, you may not salivate over it, but you know what it looks like. And sometimes you would desire to want to have a body like that. Or, you may say that it requires too much work, whatever. But according to the federal guidelines, a man my size, and most of us who are men of size are also tall as well. So most of us, they say that all of us are usually supposed to be around 205 pounds on a large frame male who is over 6 feet and over. Well, as I said, all of this is based on your individuality, what it is, how you look, and how your clothes fit, and this, that, and the other. I personally do not like to see anyone who looks miserable in their weight. Okay, when you look like you're having problems, you look like you just uncomfortable in it, and I know some brothers, honey, who hold it well. I'm one of them, actually, who I hold my weight well. When I gain weight is when I feel like I'm looking like those that I talk about that look like they're uncomfortable, that whole spheric where you look like a ball on legs, that there, when I started to get that little roundness, I'm looking like a globe with wheels or a globe with shoes on, I then said, okay, this here is nothing. One of my motivations, too, as my stomach expanded, my ass got flat. And I can't stand that. My ass was my attention grabber, my ass and my legs. But because of all the weight, then I'm starting to have problems with my circulation in my legs and this, that, and the other. It's not conducive for me. So this is why I'm on this for my big brothers out there and my big sisters. But women, y'all get browbeat all the time about your weight. So I'm not going to concentrate on you. Just take the information and apply it as necessary. I'm going to concentrate on my brothers out there, because our society has said that it's okay when a man gains weight and this, that, and the other, and we've become to accept that and to expect that as normal activity. But what happens is we have become so comfortable in it, we get fat, we get bald, and it's just not a good, healthy combination. And then we end up having all these problems. We huffing and puffing. On top of me having all this weight, I'm asthmatic too. So the extra weight on me is causing extra problems with my heart, and extra problems with my lungs, and extra this and extra that. So I'm sounding like I'm breathing normal when you're thinking I'm finna go to fall out, because I'm watching TV. Or those of us who have sleep apnea, which I have that as well. You can't breathe at night. You sound like you're finna buzz down a whole forest when you're snoring and things. And so these are the kinds of things that if we just get down to a healthier size, that we can eliminate a lot of these problems. Now, here's something I want you to consider, because this here comes from Men's Health magazine. This just came out. This is October 19th edition. And here's something that I found to be very interesting. Check this out. They're saying the true cost of obesity. I'm taking an excerpt from this because this is coming from the article that they did called I Hate Fat People, and this was dealing with the prejudices that go on that society has around people who are of size. But this is here that I found to be interesting. It says, you heard the statistics. Lose enough weight and your risk of diabetes will drop by 30%. You will slash your cholesterol by 5%. True and true. Even so, 2/3 of Americans are overweight or obese. People need to fully appreciate all the consequences of obesity, says John Cowley, Ph.D., a health economist at Cornell University, not just the ones that show up on the health care bill. Now, here's what they say. Check this out. 12.4% is the average amount of body fat that's 12.4 pounds. This is in pounds. The average amount of body fat that is gained from upsizing a fast food value meal 3 times a week for a year. 12.4 pounds is what they've estimated that to. For 3 times a week in a year's time, you can gain 12.4 pounds. And we all know I'm one of them, honey. Whenever I go, I always get the upsize on the fries, and I don't drink soda anymore. So, yeah. Okay, 69% of unnecessary calories your body stores as excess weight is after you've wolfed all that down. So not only do you get 12.4 pounds gain, but 68% of the unnecessary calories come from that. 68%. $175.20 is the average cost of adding 100 calories, which is about 8 Cheez-Its worth, to your diet every day for a year. 68% increase in men's likelihood of not being in the mood for sex if he's obese. I'm sorry, that's 88%. 88% increase in men's likelihood of not being in the mood for sex if he's obese. The number of time a man misses out on sex in a year if he's obese, it's about 18 times. 18 times is the number of times a man misses out on sex in a year if he's obese. It says if everyone paired off according to weight, then being heavy wouldn't affect your probability of having sex, says Collie. This means some obese people are not willing to date each other. And we are, for those of us who are LGBT, we all know that, right? The big boy community has broken down, and big boys are looking for chasers and this, that, and the other. I will get into that a little later. I want to get these numbers out here first. It says here 169% increase in a man's likelihood from suffering from erectile dysfunction if he's overweight. 169% increase in a man's likelihood to suffer from erectile dysfunction if he's overweight. Now, I'm going to pause right there, because one of the things that seems to be a catch-22 with health problems is that stuff like that is becoming a mental health problem as well, because we become depressed, we become stagnant, we become introverted, and then we become antisocial and all of that. And all that becomes a mental issue as well. So not only are we dealing with the physical aspects of what the weight does, we also deal with the emotional aspects, because once we get depressed, and for those of us who are emotional eaters like me, then you go run into the refrigerator for comfort food, which then makes you fatter, which makes you more depressed because, okay, you get the picture. Now, it says here, $1,429 is the amount by which annual medical spending on an insured obese person surpasses spending on a normal weight person. So they're saying that for every person who is at what they consider to be a normal weight, okay, those who are considered to be obese, your companies and stuff end up, your medical spending is $1,429 more than a person who's considered a normal size. Now, let me footnote something here, because I want you to understand something. Again, what they're considering to be normal goes on what the scale says that normal weight should be. Now, for those of us who have gotten down to where it's a healthy you, if you are, what I hate saying height, weight, proportionate, because that there has been used as a gimmick, to suppress men of people of size, and also to pass on the prejudice for those who are dating and they don't want nobody to be fat. But those of you, I'm going to say, who are just proportionate, you're not thin according to the guidelines, but you're at a wonderful weight where you look good, you're not looking sickly, you feel out in all the right places. Even if you got a little gut, it's a little and it's manageable, and it's not that it's causing or creating a big health risk for you. That there is what I consider to be ideal weight, because I believe everybody needs a little meat on their bones, child. Okay, but I'll get on that later. But they're saying that you will spend $1,400 more on your medical bills than that who is considered to be normal. They also say that $147 billion is the estimated amount of U.S. healthcare spending attributed to obesity in 2008. Obese people use more healthcare, but most don't pay any more for health insurance from their employer, or the government probably says. Lighter people are subsidizing them. Now, this here is one of those kind of subjects, because I did not read this whole article, but this Mr. Crowley here sounds as if he's one of these folks who hate fat people, and the suggestion is that the smaller American, is carrying us on their shoulders because of the health care costs. But they're saying that $147 billion is estimated for obesity medical care. 3.4% wage penalty for obese men in the United States. So they're saying that men who are heavy, you get a 3.4% decrease in your pay. And we've all heard that from companies who don't want to hire fat folks. We know of companies who fired fat folks. We know of companies who, they put all these programs and stuff in place because of what they consider to be the company image and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, yakety, smackety. So this here is saying that 3.4% is what we lose in our pay because of our size. $285,000 is the average yearly cost for obesity-related medical expenses incurred by a company with 1,000 employees. So a big old company with 1,000 employees are paying an extra $285,000 a year for those of us who are of size. Okay? Now this part of it says fat and unhappy. What if you decided between packing on the pounds or losing your job, your house, a limb, or even your wife or husband? What would you choose? We've surveyed men's health readers to find out, and they say this. 59% of the respondents would rather go bald than permanently gain 20 pounds. Okay. 45% of the respondents would rather lose an arm than permanently pack on 100 pounds. Interesting, huh? Now, see, a lot of this we hear, again, remember when I said this becomes a mental issue as well? Because from these responses, you start to hear some of the internalized phobias that we have and we create on ourselves. 55% of the respondents, 55% of the respondents who think it would be worse to permanently gain 100 pounds than have their wife cheat on them. Wow. Or their spouse. I'm going to say their spouse. 55% believe it is worse for you to gain 100 pounds permanently than for you to have infidelity in your relationship. 82% of the respondents considered it grounds for divorce if their partners gained 100 pounds. Interesting. 20 pounds is the amount of weight gain respondents consider to be a deal breaker in a dating relationship. Men may perceive their social status as being lower if their partner is overweight, says Poole. And Mr. Poole, I got to get his name. He is, this is Miss Poole, Rebecca Poole. She's a PhD, the research director at Yale University, the Rudd Center for Food Policy and Obesity. That's her title. She says part of it may be due to the social contingent effect. If you associate with an obese person, you may be stigmatized too. In 2005 research study, men say that they would prefer a sexual partner who is missing an arm, is in a wheelchair, or has a history of suicide attempts or an STD over an obese bedmate. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? But that was a 2005 report, and they're quoting that for this 2010 article. Wow. 59% of the respondents would rather lose their job than permanently gain 50 pounds. Ain't that nothing? The doctor says even if you keep your job, gaining weight could affect advancement, says Poole. The Journal of Vocation Behaviors report that an obese employee is 37 times more likely to report job discrimination, a missed promotion, unfair termination than a normal weight person. Interesting. 57% of the respondents would rather drown in debt for the next decade than permanently put on 50 pounds. That's interesting. 59% of the respondents would rather prefer a foreclosure on their home than permanently gain 100 pounds. Ain't that interesting? She says, for social capital, thinness may be more important than money, says Poole. If you are thin, you are often seen as happy, successful, and achieving your life's goals. Now, again, all of this comes from this article of I Hate Fat People in the October 19th edition of the Men's Health magazine. So what we have here, like I said, you're hearing a lot of internalized hatred and stuff for those who are perceiving what it would mean to gain that much weight. And I'm assuming all these folks were thin because the amount of questions were if they were to gain this kind of weight. And those of us who have this kind of weight, we're over 300 pounds, you know, and then this is also dependent on your height, you know. But if you are considered to be obese, based on your height and how much you weigh and what it's doing to your body frame and all of that, it's time, I want you to consider looking at that, and it's time to become comfortable in your own skin. It's time to take heed to it. And I know it gets a little difficult because we like what we like, but we also want to make sure that we become our most healthy. Here's another caller coming in, 404-587. 404-587. Hello there, caller. You are on the air. Thank you for dishing tea with Big Meats. Hey, baby. Caller?
Hello?
Yep,
Hello?
That's you. Yes,
hey,
you.
What's going on?
Hey. Hey. What's up?
Nothing much. Just calling in on your show. I'm loving the topic.
Okay. Well, you heard the statistics that I've been quoting. Dish your tea, baby. What you think about all of that, and where are you in this particular struggle?
Oh, I'm a big guy fighting against small. I'm a big guy fighting against small because at first I was cool with being big, and then I noticed these health problems. Like, for example, can't get up and down stairs. You know, want to screw everybody, but ain't nobody want to screw me. You know, and eventually, you know, first it became like, you know, like one of those rebellious issues, like when people got to take me for the way I am. But then when you start affecting your health, you ain't gonna live long enough to get no revenge. You know, 'cause like, for example, I had to go to the hospital. I want to say like year before last, and it was like they were like just rattling off a list of stuff that was wrong with me. You know, and it got scary because it was almost like I couldn't get out of the hospital.
Wow.
Now about the statistics, I've heard about that. You know, where jobs don't want to hire people. You know, because of that. Matter of fact, a lot of insurance companies have dropped companies because of their number of obese people on the job.
Wow, interesting. Now that's interesting. I would love to see the statistics on that. Because yes, God. And see, you know, for me, I know at my company, I'm the biggest person there. Okay. Because working in the security department, you know, I have to know everybody because that's what we do. We have to be aware of everybody that comes in. And I know of all of the employees there, I am the heaviest. And when it dawned on me, I didn't know how I felt about that, you know. But again, I too am one of those people, you know, that whole rebellion, you know, take me and leave me and this, that, and the other, and I still have that mentality. But what is happening with that mentality is my body is saying, that's cute, but we need to refine that because I can't take it. Okay? And my body is like, bitch, okay, I'm going to leave your ass right there on this job, and I'm going to check out. And, you know, of course, you know, the absurdity of that is for me not being able to manifest all of my dreams and my goals because of my love for food or because of whatever health issues, because like I said, I'm an emotional eater. And a lot of times we end up gaining weight that's not ours, and a lot of folks may not understand what that means. But if you are someone who harbors people's problems, you know, you are the go-to person, and you solving the world and this, that, and the third, and you harbor their issues become yours. And a lot of times you end up eating or treating yourself because you worried about them. They did a study I was looking at about drugs.
Do you know that the hormones that you release, the happy hormone you release from eating, is stronger than a crack addiction, than a cocaine addiction, even than a heroin addiction.
Really?
So a lot of times when people eat, they're not realizing that they're getting high off the food they eat. That's why they keep wanting to eat. Every time something goes wrong,
they gotta do that. But you know, I would love to see what that is with that being cultural. Because, you know, we as black folks, you know, everything we do is around food. All of our celebrations, all of our crying spells, everything is around something.
You eat during the ceremony, after the ceremony, before the ceremony. And if you go to church a few times, more than one service, oh God, that's a pile up. I remember I had an aunt.
Exactly.
Rest in peace. That's how she would eat during the weekend. She would just go to church.
Okay.
But also another thing that most people outside and people that are not outside got to be careful of is the food we eat is killing us.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Exactly.
Like right now, we have stuff like corn syrup. And that corn syrup is turning people diabetic no matter what size you're in. It has no discrimination whatsoever.
Exactly. Now, with you, how was that on your psyche? Being a person of size. Okay, now wait a minute, hold on. Before you go there, let me say this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this here happens to be another friend of mine who done called into the show, so I don't want y'all to think that, you know, this is a plant or whatever. I know him personally, and so what I'm looking for him to do is just to share his story so that you can hear we're all in this together. All of us may have different nuances about our journeys, but you will hear the similarities. Okay, go ahead.
Well, it bothers me. As a matter of fact, you know what's weird? It's bothers me even having friends, because a lot of times if you have smaller friends, it's like they pick you like the ugly friend. You know, the one that's just going to be there to make them look good. You know, like when you're a big person, they expect you not to have an opinion. Your opinion has to be their opinion. In other words, you got to live through them. You have to be motivated by them, and I'm like, they don't do anything. So why should I be motivated by them? You know, your ideals don't exist.
Ooh, now see, you done hit something. Ooh, Hodge, I wasn't expecting you to go there.
You have to need them. I'm like, I can't be their pet. I refuse.
Did you say I can't be their pet? Shut up.
I can't be their pet.
Damn.
I can't make them feel good about nothing. You know. And when you fight for yourself, that's when you end up going back to that fridge, because you need something to get high off of. You need something to calm your nerves. So you go back and you start eating all the food you ain't supposed to be eating.
And then too, it's quick. So a lot of the stuff that we eat that we know where it's supposed, it's quick. It doesn't require a lot of prep time. It's an easy pop in, pop out. That's the come. I don't buy a lot of sweets and stuff anymore because I know I'm a sweet junkie. I love me some cookies. You know, dunk me some cookies and milk. Give me some Suzy Q's. Give me some honey buns up in here, and I'm good to go. But I stopped buying it in the house because I know, you know, although I just caught your laugh. Hush.
but also another thing about the way you think is that you never really feel fully clean whenever you're big, for some weird reason. You always it used to bother me for a minute because you know you always wonder, okay, am I fully clean or how that person looking at me? Am I really really clean? You know, because people give you that dirty look.
Exactly, like you done dropped a piece of bologna or something on your chest, and you didn't wipe it off. Yeah.
Yeah, like that person. Like how does that person wash their body? His arm look too small.
Now you know. Now see, you want to go there too. See, okay. So you bringing up some cute points that we as big folks that have to deal with. Now let's deal with it now. Let's talk about it because I know there are some of us who just look like they stink. You know, that's their whole uncomfortableness. They look like they're unclean, they're unkempt. They look like they don't wipe their ass after they come from the bathroom. That everything about that just looks wrong. You know, and when you start to get that particular kind of look from just people in general, as you walk down the street and then they look at you like you're crazy, they don't want to sit by you on the bus or the train, this, that, and the other. You know, it becomes a self-conscious kind of thing, and that also deals and works on that psyche. Hold on, let me bring in 615-615-944. I'm going to bring you in on us. Come on in and say your piece. Hello, sweetie. Thank you for dishing tea with Big Meech.
Hey, Big Meech. This is Trent.
Hey.
How you doing? Trent from
What's going on? Hey, what's up?
I'm good. I want to talk about health care for men who are bigger. I'm a songwriter, so I'm self-employed, right? Where I live, I try to get free health care, and they told me because I didn't have children or whatever, I couldn't do it. So, you know, since I'm self-employed, I called up like maybe 3 or 5 different insurance companies, and I would just, you know, they ask you what's your height, what's your weight, do you have any diseases, and of course, you know, I have diabetes and hypertension. They wouldn't even take my money. They told me no. So if I can't get health care for free and I can't buy it either, what do I do?
Wow. Ain't that nothing?
I mean, how messed up is that?
Ain't that nothing?
That's ridiculous.
Ain't that nothing?
Wow. I was thinking about packing up and going to the UK.
Okay, how about it?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Wow. Now, see, I don't even know how to deal with that one because, see, I was kind of in a similar situation back home, but I had, well, you know, for single people back in Michigan, there are times where they have open enrollment for the state insurance,
right,
which covers nothing, basically. You know, it is just the strictest, barest minimums. And if you have a pre-existing condition such as asthma or diabetes, they don't even cover all of your medicines. Wow. Okay? And it becomes, when I was talking about my hernia earlier, that's why they wouldn't operate, because I had the state insurance. And because it was considered to be, my hernia wasn't an emergency situation where it would cause me to have a colostomy bag, that's why they didn't do the operation then. I'm sitting up there, rolling.
You know,
I'm in pain.
That's so backwards to me, because I'm like, they should fix that so you wouldn't need a colostomy bag, because a colostomy bag costs more money.
Right, but see, a lot of the surgeons, here's the rub, because a lot of medical care, it becomes a business, okay? And the bottom line is, basically, bitch better have my money, okay? Yeah. If you ain't paying me my money, I don't care what it is. We can sit up there and sing Kumbaya, but the bottom line is I need my greenbacks because I got to pay my bills too. And though we understand it, you know, we understand it and we get it. At the same time, you know, when you're in need, and when we talk about medical care and health care and this and the other, it becomes a problem. And just like you said, you know, being a self-employed individual, see, then you have to sit up there and now jump through even greater hoops because most folks won't take you seriously. See, they can sit there and deny you because you're not a big corporation that can slide up under the radar or whatever. That, you know, they have X amount of employees that can offset and balance off, you know, some of the claims because
it's for like just an individual policy for one person. But because I'm overweight, they're just like, no, you can't even buy insurance from us. Whatever the amount they would need, I mean, I was willing to pay just so, you know, if I needed to go to the ER or something like that. They won't take the money.
Oh, they're not.
I mean,
they're not hearing it. That's just period.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I'd like to ask some of the Republicans who say that, you know, healthcare is fine the way it is. What do you do with a person who can purchase it and they won't sell it to me? And then I can't get it for free either. I mean, so what? I mean, that's crazy. Only in America. Only in America.
Ain't that nothing?
You know what's weird? Those are the voices that I wish was heard more when everyone was complaining about universal health care and fighting about the new bill. Because there's a lot of people right now that they're honestly just not going to take. There's a lot of people out there that if a job hires them, they drop the whole job. They drop the whole company and say, well, you got too many at-risk people.
Wow. Ain't that sad? Ain't that sad? And see, and the whole thing of it is that it puts us in the catch-22 because see, now here's something that I found to be interesting, and that was a few years ago. This was two, maybe 3 years ago. I had to go and get a heart catheterization because they wanted to look at my heart and see if I had any blood clots or whatever. And the doctor, this is over here at Emory. Emory Adventist up in Smyrna. He stood up there and looked at me and told me everything was fine, right? And I was good with that. There was no blood clots and this, that, and the third. But he also said, but you're overweight and you're going to need to drop this weight. And instead of him sending me to the dietitian, he opted that I needed to have the gastric bypass surgery. And it wasn't no, you need to consult your doctor. Well, he flat out said, I'm recommending gastric bypass for you, as you need to start the process of this now. Not one time did he say go to a nutritionist. Not one time did he confirm this with my primary care doctor. This is what he said. Now, my cholesterol levels are normal. I didn't have any blood clots or whatever. My blood pressure is well, now they're telling me I'm borderline and this, that, and the other, but at the time it wasn't. So I'm like, okay, if none of these other symptoms or none of these other things are indicating anything else, why would you suggest gastric bypass versus going to the nutritionist and anything else? So a lot of these things that we as men of size need to also look at is how the doctors are treating us, because I think a lot of that stuff is becoming prejudices from the medical community as well. You know, a lot of the gurneys and stuff don't hold us. You know, they don't have enough scales in there. I'm 400 pounds, and the scale only goes up to 350. Okay, so, you know, so stuff like that. And, you know, the argument becomes, well, why should they have to accommodate for you when all you need to do is push yourself back from the table? You need to take more responsibility with yourself. You need to. And not once have they looked to see if this was a medical problem, if this was a thyroid problem, if this was some kind of hormonal problem or imbalance. They never looked at that because they don't go to those particular changes with us. And then we as men don't know how to go to the doctor anyway on any kind of regular basis. So then it becomes a whole big old mess. And so then time to go, we're up. Go ahead.
Now, can I play devil's advocate on that? Because
Go ahead.
I know there's a lot of times, like with us being people of size, that we get a little delusional and a whole lot of denial going on.
Go ahead, because we do say it.
Huh?
Go ahead.
where it's like, okay, where a doctor might talk to us about our health and we'll say, okay, ain't nothing wrong, or we don't want to break our habits of what we eat. For example, like with us, and I mean, like a lot of people aside, like, I use this as an example. Parents, I notice like the parents are pretty much killing their kids now. With load them up with all this food, with all the corn, like I said before, the corn syrup and all these rich, fatty foods. And then when you ask them about the kids' nutrition, they say, well, the kids make me do this. He won't eat them. And I'm like, the kid don't have a job. You can't go eat whatever you put in front of them. As a matter of fact, it's weird. And actually, what parents say is a lie, because, for example, I got little nephews and stuff. And I noticed they pick to eat healthy. Like, for example, like when I eat all my diet foods, they want the diet foods more than they want the cookies and stuff. But we give them the cookies and shut up food.
Exactly. It's shut up food, comfort food.
It's like we're passing on bad habits to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed, like, even like when we go to the doctor, and I've seen this commercial, and it really made me think, because I've been learning how to do this too, and it's kind of hard. When you first start off, it's learning to talk to the doctor about everything that's wrong with you, and putting it all on the table. We don't want to be honest with the doctor. But
there's a catch-22. There's a catch, because most doctors now they have a time limit with you now, because they have so many patients. They have a time limit of 7.5 to 8 minutes tops with you. So by the time you get through running off this list of stuff, they don't have time to examine you, because they've been there.
Well, let me ask you this though. If somebody came to you and said, okay, let's say like you just sit walking in the street, someone come with a gun and say, listen, you got 5 minutes to live. What you gonna say? You gonna try to say everything you can to try to get out of that situation. So why don't you do that with your doctor? If your spouse thought you cheating, and she only want to listen to, she or he or whatever wants to listen only 5 minutes of what you gotta say, you gonna say and do whatever to try to keep that person.
That's true.
But when you go to a doctor, you don't do that. You're very, very let me turn and get out of here.
Well,
I'm not going to tell them this, I'm not going to tell them that.
Well, that's a very masculine thing, because, that there is men, period. Men don't like doctors. We don't like going through the test. We don't like feeling poked and prodded or whatever. And for those who are heterosexual, I know it's an even bigger stigma, because, most doctors, you want to be comfortable by seeing a man doctor so you don't get hard by seeing a woman doctor who's attractive. So if he's poking and prodding and got to go into those special areas, a man don't want another man doing that. Gay men,
on the other hand, save my life. That is true. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of guys die from prostate cancer because they don't want to take that exam.
They don't want to take the exam. Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Right. The whole idea of a man putting a thing in it, but just freaks them out. So they rather live with their prostate than to get the proper exam.
And then wear it as a badge of honor. I got prostate cancer.
And Big Me, I want to bring up one other thing about
Go ahead.
The gastric bypass. I was considering doing that, and I went to like the little seminar, and they're like, the surgery through your insurance company would be like, I think maybe $65,000, that the insurance company would have to pay, and you have to go through all of this counseling and see a psychiatrist, and you have to lose so much weight to, qualify for the surgery, and the process takes about 3 months. But when I went up to the nurse after the seminar, and I told her, I said, well, I may be, I can do like a direct pay. How much would a direct pay cost? She summoned the doctor over. He told me, oh, we can do it for $20,000. We can get you in here in a week and get it done. I was like, but you just told everybody if they went through insurance, it's $60,000. He was like, oh, but if you're direct pay, I can go ahead and take you now.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you about now. Here's something that's weird about that. Do you know your insurance company can come in and negotiate a price? For example, like how you just said that the price will be like $65,000. Your insurance company, we're not going to pay that much. But your insurance company can negotiate down the price. You can't. which is a crazy thing. That's why it's weird. It's like, okay, we push it for the 65, but if you got 20,000, we'll take you right now because they know those 9, 10, 10. That's what they're gonna get from the insurance company anyway.
Okay. Wow. Ain't that something?
But you know what? One thing I noticed is weird now is that jails are empty now. And to me, that's the cheapest remedy for anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like it's like when I first started, like when I first started weightlifting, like if you go on my Facebook page, you'll see what I used to look like. Now back then, everybody wanted to work out. Matter of fact, you couldn't even get in the gym sometimes because of everybody trying to crowd in and work out. But now everybody has like this kind of lazy. I'm gonna get big, just love it who I am. Facebook, which is putting on more weight than anything, and flattening out bodies everywhere. Now it's like the gyms are empty. Oh my God, it's Facebooking and clubbing. I think is what's making everybody people outside now. It's no longer men outside, just people inside, because we eat at night. And we eat all these crazy, greasy foods and stuff that you know your body's not going to digest.
Right. Well, that there is really, really something. But this is going to be my plight. I've said this, as long as I'm on this particular journey, I want folks to know that I'm on this struggle. And as long as it's my particular journey, I'll be sharing this. So I'll be doing shows like this from time to time. And what I want to start doing is isolating a specific health issue and bring in medical experts so we could talk about that specific issue with dealing with men of size. So with that, I want to thank you guys for coming onto the show and sharing your stories with me. Again, as we celebrate one another and celebrate our size as big men, the call for action is to be healthy big men or healthier, because we want to make sure we get to a workable size that is conducive for us and not just, on this quest to become thin, because that's not the goal. The goal is to be healthy. Okay. And then I think also it is a mental thing, because those of us who have been big, we've been big for so long that we've gotten used to the attention. And we've gotten used to all what the folks going to say, and we got used to this and got used to that. And even though it still hurts when we hear negative comments, we know what to expect. And I think that the idea of not being a big man anymore becomes a mental issue, because we ain't going to know how to handle it. I know for me, we're considering gastric bypass. They told me that I had the possibility of losing up to over 200 pounds. I say, if I lose over 200 pounds, that's going to put me down to 185, 90 pounds. I haven't been that size since I graduated high school. And when I was at that size, I was in the height of my sexual addiction. I said, I ain't going to know how to handle that at this particular, and the thought of it, was overwhelming for me to know that was the size, and then I would, of course, everybody would swear I was the desirable one, then I would be one of the beautiful ones again, and what all that meant and what that entailed. Then the flip side of it was, but then I won't be that big boy no more. Everybody like me because I'm jovial and I'm this and I'm that, and I won't be that big boy. What would that mean? How folks going to look? What are my friends going to do? And then here's the hateful thing. Those of us who are of size, when we see folks who lost weight, we end up hating on them, because as if they sold out. So, wow, what us going to do? What is us going to do? But on that note, guys, thanks for coming in. and we're going to take this show to the next level. And on my next installment, honey, we'll be talking about a lot of the issues with it. And I think when I come back, I want to hit it where we all know, and I want to really target that sex issue and deal with oxygenation of our cells and the blood and stuff and erectile dysfunction. I think I want to stay there because that there it seems to be where a lot of us hit hard because we don't know. As men, we're supposed to be X, Y, and Z. And we're supposed to be these wonderful, wonderful creatures of habit or whatever the case may be. But when we find out that our actual essence is not what it is, then we end up having problems. And so I think my next installment will be focusing on that exclusively. So with that, thank you all for coming on and listening. Please tell a friend to go catch this in the archives or tell an enemy, I don't care, one way or the other, this will move forward. Join me next week where you know her from the Tyler Perry plays, and you may know her from Mama, I Want to Sing. Miss Deatra Hicks, that singing diva herself, is going to be with me next week, and we're going to make this happen. So with all of that, I thank you all for sharing your stories with me, and thank you for listening to mine. And until that time again, honey, the crumpets have been served, and the tea has been dished, honey. So with that, I thank you, and I will talk with you again soon. Bye-bye.